I'm not a lawyer or anything, but investigators, a private investigator, just dropped the felony complaint against David Burke. So yeah, we need to talk about this. I've got questions already. Let's walk through it together, and you guys can drop your thoughts after. All right, first thing that immediately stands out, it says on or about April 24th, 2025 in Los Angeles County, the crime of murder was allegedly committed by David Anthony Burke. Now pause right there. That alone tells us investigators believe Celeste was killed around April 2025. And here's where it gets eerie. Celeste's body wasn't discovered until September 8th, 2025. That's nearly 5 months later. And if you remember what was said during the press conference, the DA mentioned that Celeste went to David's house after he invited her over on April 23rd, 2025.
On April 23rd, 2025, as been alleged by the complaint, Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time, went to Mr. Burke's house in the Hollywood Hills. She was never heard from again. On September 8th, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, Miss Celeste remains, her dismembered and decomposed remains were found in 2 bags inside of a front trunk of a car registered to Mr. Burke.
So putting all that together, it really sounds like the DA timeline is this. David invites Celeste over, and within 24 hours, she's gone. That's the picture they're painting now. Let's keep going through the complaint next. It says, David allegedly killed Celeste for financial gain. That part isn't new. We've already heard prosecutors say the financial gain he ties back to his career.
As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening on that particular night.
But here's where it gets even more interesting. The pre-sale for David's World Tour started on April 23rd, the exact same day he invited Celeste over. And then the public sale kicked off April 24th, which is the same day prosecutors believe the murder happened. The timing? Yeah, it's raising eyebrows. And then the document goes even deeper. It says, quote, Celeste was a witness to a crime and was intentionally killed because of that fact. Now circle that back to the press conference, because the DA basically said Celeste was both a witness and a victim in the same situation. According to them, the crime she witnessed and was part of involved alleged sexual abuse by David. So yeah, that's where things stand in this complaint, and honestly, there's a lot to unpack here. What do you think about this timeline?
The witness to the investigation was Celeste, and the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke that is the subject of count 2 of this complaint with Celeste while she was under 14 years old.
And then right after that, the document claims David killed her by lying in wait. It literally states that he personally used a deadly and dangerous weapon, specifically a sharp instrument, and honestly that lines up with what investigators are suggesting, that he also allegedly dismembered her. Alright, now moving on to count 2, which is the abuse charge, and this is where things get really interesting. It says that on or between September 7th, 2023 and September 4th, 2024, the crime of continuous abuse was allegedly committed by David against Celeste, who was under 14 at the time, while he was living with her and had repeated access to her. So based on that, it sounds like prosecutors believe that sometime between September 2023 and September 2024, Celeste was staying with David, and during that entire period, the abuse was happening. But here's the part that really raises questions. That timeline ends in September 2024, yet authorities believe she was killed in April 2025. So does that mean their contact stopped after September 2024? And if that's the case, what exactly led up to him inviting her back over in April 2025? That gap is definitely something to watch closely. Okay, now on to count 3. This one states that the mutilation allegedly took place in Los Angeles County. So that's the full complaint breakdown so far. And yes, David had his arraignment today. During that hearing, his attorney pushed for a fast-track preliminary hearing, so things are clearly moving quickly.
We believe that Mr. Burke is entitled at the earliest opportunity to an open preliminary hearing, and the proceedings not be done in secret. So we are asking for a preliminary hearing to be set at the earliest possible date.
So here's what's next. David is expected back in court on Thursday, April 24th for the preliminary hearing. And just as a quick reminder, this hearing is where prosecutors start laying out parts of their case in front of a judge. The judge then decides if there's enough probable cause for the case to move forward to trial, which means we're likely about to learn a lot more about what prosecutors believe actually happened here. I'm expecting that courtroom to be packed, and I do plan on being there myself. So we'll see how that unfolds, and finally rest in peace to Celeste Rivas, because no matter how you look at it, this is an incredibly heartbreaking and tragic case.